Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's doing okay today. I just kind of wanted to touch on a couple of subjects that I don't think I've touched on yet, to be quite honest. And that is the topics of light discipline, light, L-I-G-H-T, meaning like illumination, and then sound discipline. Um, it really comes from the military, that type of life, but there is something to be said for military operations in how we conduct operations primarily in the times of darkness overnight. And there's always been talk, at least since I've been associated with the military. I think all branches probably can say this: is that from the United States perspective, we own the night, and we usually do a lot of our damage at night, and we train at night, and therefore we are very proficient at operations conducted in the dark. With that said, along with that comes certain things that you have to be proficient at, and one obviously is training at night, shooting at night, and with the use of flashlights, lighting devices, the first thing that gives you away in any type of situation in the darkness is the discovery of light. In other words, white light. So like a normal flashlight, it just shines white and it sticks out like a sore thumb, and you can see it from a lot of times miles away. Of course, technology is so great with night vision and all that stuff nowadays. From a military application or perspective, it's a pretty big deal. But for civilians, start talking in terms of like Civil War. Should that, God forbid, occur to us or in our presence or in our lifetime, you're going to want to use some light discipline. You're going to want to be selective about, what you illuminate at night, especially if there's no power and there's no lights on anywhere. Say there was an EMP or the grid was down for whatever reason. People are going to be looking for sources of light, and if they see it, they're going to come. So with regards to light discipline, I'm mainly referring to being able to subdue light. In other words, instead of having just a white light regular lens on your flashlight, there's all kinds of different flashlights, number one, but there's ways that you can create a subdued or a colored lens that doesn't illuminate so much. So like take for instance this blue light. That's a lot different in the dark compared to a white light. Now, you're not going to be able to see as far with blue light, but if you're working on something, close or whatever, and on a table, a blue or a red light or a green light is going to be way more advantageous to you to not be seen by somebody else. When things are all dark, man, a white light just gives you away big time. Big time. So there's a lot of different things you can use to make these lens covers. You can actually buy the GI type flashlights. They look like an L. They're usually OD green. I think they make some black ones and some khaki or coyote brown ones now. Coyote tan, whatever you call it, desert color. But they usually have the lenses in them, but you just got to look and make sure. And there's also some other different flashlight companies that make subdued lenses. I don't really know the manufacturers off the top of my head, but you can also use, make your own. As long as you can unscrew the lens of the light, you can use some colored plastic, cellophane, or sometimes like the gift wrapping plastic is subdued enough to use, and red or green. Primarily, we're coming up on Christmas, so that stuff ought to be easy to find. You can even use like the colored packing tapes and things like that are sometimes useful for that. So anyway, light discipline. I think it's a big thing that a lot of people don't think of. And from the military perspective, it's critical that you don't, give your position away by just clicking on a light or a cigarette lighter or something like that. So, look around, see what you can find. There's probably plenty online. That's not something I really look for. I just make my own. But there's options out there for you, or at least there should be. The other part of the discipline topics is sound discipline. At night, sound carries a lot farther during the day than compared to the daytime. So, whether you're talking or, just communicating in general by radio or having a conversation with somebody, at night, if things are dicey, you want to be very, very quiet. You don't want to just, overly shout your words and give your position away. You want to be quiet and stealthy and use a disciplined strategy to keep yourself protected and your close family and friends that are with you protected and your property protected. So anyway, no playing loud music or radios or whatever to get news. Just be cognizant of at night, and things travel a long way at night, and it might be the difference in you having trouble or not. So when the sun goes down, that's usually when the bad stuff happens, and you should be prepared to make adjustments to your lifestyle if things were to get out of hand and we end up in a civil war situation or without rule of law, something like that. SHTF in general, it's a good habit to be in. Again, light discipline, sound discipline. Don't using dark, subdued curtains to keep light in and not shining out the windows. Keeping noise down, bare minimum, very quiet. It's all huge. It's all critical to owning the night and being safe. So I hope all this works out for us. Looks like the Senate's getting pretty ramped. The Judiciary Committee is getting pretty ramped up to get nasty to this poor justice nominee, Barrett. So looks like she's going to go through hell here, but hopefully by Wednesday or Thursday it'll be wrapped up and they'll get this voting done and get her installed before things get too out of whack up there. So, anyway, wishing everybody the best. Hopefully you're continuing to prep and pay attention. Don't get complacent. Keep prepping. Stack it deep. And long live the Republic.